I haven't just made a video where I just talk to you in a long time. So this is a video about if you're frustrated because you feel you haven't been learning a whole lot recently with English. So are you frustrated that you've been studying and you feel like you haven't really improved? I understand. Sometimes you get to kind of an intermediate area and you learn enough to get the job done, but you're not really fluent. And you want to be fluent, right? It's frustrating. Now, you may have reached what's called a plateau. A plateau is, think of it like this. You're climbing a mountain, right? You're climbing, you're going up, and then you reach a point in the mountain where it's flat, and you got a long way to go before it goes up more, before you get to the top. So you see the top, you want to get there, and you're traveling, but you're not getting any closer height-wise. It's just flat, this long distance, and it's frustrating. You feel like you're traveling and traveling, but not getting closer to the top. That's a plateau. Now, persistence is key to breaking through that plateau, but also practicing in the right way helps too. And that all starts with being able to measure yourself. Now, here is what some of my younger children's students do, and I'm sure many adults do this too. I've been guilty of it in some areas, and that is measuring yourself unclearly. Like this. You may enter a conversation, right? And you're speaking, and you think, okay, if I make no mistakes and I understand everything and I can communicate clearly, then I'm being fluent, right? And if I make mistakes and I'm not confident and can't communicate clearly and I don't understand everything, then I'm not fluent and I'm bad. But you have to go deeper than that. It's more than just, I did good, therefore I'm good at English, or I did bad, therefore I'm bad at English. You have to go deeper. For example, let's say you're writing. You're working on your writing. Instead of thinking, did I do good at writing or did I not? Did I make mistakes or did I not make mistakes? Instead, focus on one small area, like gender pronouns. Am I using he and she and her and him correctly? And maybe just practice that. Practice it over and over with feedback from a teacher or someone who's fluent. You can even go online and submit writing to different websites. I'll try to find one in the description below for you. And they can look at it for you. And just practice the gender pronouns until you get it right. And then maybe next time you'll focus on, am I doing the right pronunciation? Is there a dot at the end of my statements? Is there a question mark at the end of my questions? Is there an exclamation mark at the end of loud speech? So just practice that over and over until you're doing it right, and then move to the next thing. So now you're measuring improvement in smaller areas. As you improve, greatly improve, or eliminate all mistakes in each of those small areas, you'll find that you're moving past the plateau, okay? And this is why taking responsibility for your own education is so important, and why I really don't like schools. Now that sounds harsh, me, a teacher, not liking schools that much. Let me be clear. I like the work that I'm doing. I think the systems we use at my school are fantastic and they work. And I love the teachers and students that I work with. But schools are not perfect models for learning. You have to take personal responsibility for you getting past the plateau and getting fluent. You see, schools, you have a group of students together and you have a schedule. You have to do this by this time, then If you learned it or not, we're moving on to the next subject. And then we're doing that for a week. And whether you learned it or not, after that week, we're moving to the next subject. And when there's a lot of students, you don't have a lot of time to work with a student and help them practice over and over again, because a teacher's time and focus is divided among so many students, right? I like one-on-one a lot better for that reason. And so sometimes I want the students to do well, and there ends up being 2 or 3 students that sometimes lag behind. It breaks my heart. I hate it. And so for those students, I want them to take responsibility for their learning. So sometimes I'm going from student to student, and I'm, correcting things, telling people how to do it right. And then if it's an issue I see 2 or more students having problems with, I'll write it on the whiteboard and explain. We'll go through examples. I'll have people ask questions and answers. But guess who ends up not responding or paying attention, right? It's the ones who are having the problem in the first place, the ones I stopped the whole class to specifically help. They're the ones not paying attention. And that bothers me sometimes. And so I think the people who make the most progress are the people who really care, who pay attention and take responsibility. I'm going to learn this, right? I'm going to learn this and practice it until I do better, and then I'm going to move to the next subject. If you're an adult student, as most of you are, if you're watching this channel, right? This is a business English channel, and you haven't asked, how am I doing, or measured yourself beyond, did I do a good job, or did I do a bad job? You're not measuring the small things, you're just, did I do good, then I'm good. Did I do bad, then I'm bad. Then probably what happened is you went to school learning English for years, and you became intermediate skill level, middle skill level. You made it to that plateau, and you never learned to ask yourself, how do I focus on those small things? What kind of mistakes am I making? And just practice that until you get better. You haven't taught yourself how to do that, and that's okay. That's what this video is for. So, the big takeaways. Instead of worrying about how many mistakes you're making, select one small area of improvement and practice it over and over until you're better. And then choose another small area and practice it over and over. And then use it as much as you can outside of class. Then you'll do better. That is how you take responsibility for your learning. So I hope this helps you. Please like, please subscribe, and share this video with people who are frustrated that they are hitting a plateau, okay? What language issues do you want to measure? Tell me down in the comments below. I put up a link to my Good to Know English playlist and one more video that I think you'll like. Until then, take care, English winners. Keep on winning.